Welcome back to the SBS SuperBiased Sports Show. A place where fans can be fans no matter how biased their take is. And trust me, we mean it doesn't matter. I'm Ramon, my co-host B-Rob.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the show. If you guys are listening to this on the podcast app, make sure you guys favorite the podcast. But in the event, if you are watching this on YouTube, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, man. You guys want to subscribe, turn that bell icon on so that way you can see when we post in videos. And then also that way, this enters you into different giveaways that we have coming in the future. So it's free agency today, man. What do we got today, man? First day of
Man,
free agency.
first up, man. Tampa Bay. I think we call them Tampa Bay or Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Tampa Bay, man, they did their thing. And actually I was so I kick it off. I actually was a little bit um upset prior to today on free agency because as everyone noticed, unless you're under a rock or anything, um Tom Brady has unretired and is back in the NFL. So instantly, immediately, soon as he unretired, it for my Cincinnati Bengals, it threw a complete wrench in the plans.
Everything.
It threw a complete wrench in the plans. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Pac-Man Jones and um, Ryan Jensen share the same agent, and there was some reports that came out a few, about within the last week. Pac-Man pretty much hinting at the fact that Jensen was a for sure knocking at least to come to Cincinnati, and it's a lot of people believe that we would have gotten uh, Jensen and Kappa, which is their guard. But unfortunately, Tom Brady decides to come back to the NFL, and he threw a wrench in a lot of teams' plans.
Sure
Um,
did.
and as far as it goes, like so, the people that they were able to retain or re-sign, and I honestly can say this is heavily influenced by the fact that Tom Brady is back. Um, but of course, they were going. They had already franchised Chris Godwin, so this was nothing that was out of the ordinary. This was nothing new. But they did sign Ryan Jensen to a $39 million contract for 3 years with at least 23 million guaranteed. And
Woo.
like I said, Jensen, yeah, he was the top center, expected to hit free
Mhm.
agency this offseason. But Tom Brady threw a wrench in everyone's plans, and he decided to team back up with Tom Brady, which make a lot of sense.
Can't blame him.
Any day, yeah, you can't blame him. Any day you got a quarterback like Tom Brady, um, you're gonna you're gonna choose every other quarterback over. I mean, you're gonna choose Tom Brady over every other quarterback. So I couldn't even get upset at that. But I will say I hope this bites them back in their butt because I really, really wanted us to get Jensen, and that's just me being biased. And then also they signed Carlton Davis to a 3 year, 45 million with 30 million guaranteed. And again, I feel like it's easier to sign back with the same team when Tom Brady is, coming back. That way, you got another chance to run at the Super Bowl. And honestly, I think if Carlton Davis was to have hit free agency, I feel like he was going to go to the Steelers. He was, other than J.C. Jackson, he was one of the more higher end cornerbacks to
Cornerbacks.
go after. So with that being said, I'm not surprised that he decided to go back to Tampa Bay. Because like I said, you're gonna choose Tom Brady over any other quarterback, any other team, if he decides to suit up and play for your organization. So now if I was to give them a grade because they're retaining, top, players, the fact that Tom Brady comes back boosts up everything by a grade. So like they retained Jensen. I would have given that an A. by Tom Brady coming back, that's an A+ for me now.
Mm-hmm.
Carlton Davis. Now there are other better corners that are out there, but because of their cap situations and them their money situations, it made sense to sign someone back to the team who's already know the system, not going to demand the top dollar. So yeah, I'd even given that like a, if that was a C+, then now it's a B, kind of like signing for me, just because they also get Tom Brady back. So if I was to give the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on day one of off season, I will give them a strong B-, to balance it out. I'll give them a strong
B
B- for day one.
minus.
Yep, for day one, B-, B-.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that. I'll get him a B plus, just off the
Okay,
strength that you already said it. That man came back.
Tom
That
Brady is back.
that, that
Tom
man
Brady is
came
back.
back, and I think he's ready. He couldn't stand his wife and kids for too much longer, I guess.
Boy, my guy said that family, yeah, football is my family. The other family, they can wait a little bit.
All right. So next up is the Jacksonville Jaguars. They were the most active
Big money
team.
spinners.
Bruh, they was shelling it out on people who I would not have paid that much money to. Like they paid Christian Kirk from the Cardinals $72 million for 4 years, and it could go up to $84 million with incentives. Like, geez, like come on, and but you don't bring back DJ Chark. It was a little confusing for me, but they did sign a what I wanted him to stay. Evan Ingram to a 1 year prove it deal for 9 mil. I think that's a great pickup because he just got to start blocking better. He really do. And then they also picked up another wide receiver, Zay Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Zay
From
Jones
the
is going
Raiders.
right. I guess he's gonna start becoming a journeyman because he was with the Bills, Raiders, now this team. So I like that pickup. 3 years, 24 mil. Okay. And then they picked up also a linebacker. I cannot pronounce these names, man.
Brandon Sheriff.
No, Forsaid
Oh, that's the guy that I was talking about in
yesterday.
our prediction video. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. The
Foyer say.
prediction.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Forsaid.
Yep,
Forsaid. So FO. Y'all already
yep,
know FO. three
yep.
years, 45 mil. I like that pickup.
Yeah.
I personally like it. I think that was a good pickup. They picked up a guard. Lord knows they need. I don't know who line is worse out of the three team. Jacksonville, Giants, or Bengals.
Well. I mean, having them picking up Brandon Sheriff, he was the top guard as
Mm-hmm.
far as in free agency. Only reason why I do the quotation is because he does have a history of injury history.
Injury.
So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but it's Jacksonville.
Right.
It's
And then
Jacksonville.
they franchise tag. They tackled Cam Robinson, which was expected because they didn't have enough money to really fork over like that.
Yep.
And then they also signed defensive a DI. What's this? These names, man. Follow Runso,
Well, you
Fat
talking?
Yursky,
Yeah,
Fat
yeah, yeah.
Yursky,
He's
Fatuski.
Fatakusi, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys. I think he's a D tackle, if I'm
Yeah,
not
he,
mistaken. Yeah,
yeah, he plays the inside,
yeah,
the D line. Yeah, and he could run stuff.
yeah. But I,
So
I, I think it was important that they had the franchise tag Cam just because you need that running back that was going to be there, especially when you you drafted ETN last year and he
hmm
got injured. So I understood why they did that for Cam.
right, and then the dude FF Fatsursky, with them signing him and he will be in the interior right next to Josh Allen, not the quarterback for the Bills, but their edge defender Josh Allen, that frees him up.
Yeah.
So and then the new linebacker FO. So my overall grade for Jacksonville, because they're trying, because they've been in the dumps for the last what 10, 15 years since what was that running back, the short stocky running back,
Um,
I can't remember his name. It will come back to us a
Maurice
little bit.
Jones-Drew.
Yes, since him they haven't been nothing, literally. I would give them a B because on what they're doing, how they're trying, and they did make some good key acquisitions there. I do like that.
Well, if I was to piggyback off and give the Jags a grade, I'm gonna give the Jags a C plus for day one. And the reason why I'm giving them a C plus, I feel like Brandon one, because it's the Jaguars and they haven't proven it, right? They haven't had a record,
Understandable.
they haven't had a run like Cincinnati had last year, or like how the Chargers have been ascending. They don't have that under their belt. So they're in a position where they can attract some names, but they're going to overpay for a lot of people.
Heavily Christian Kirk,
So
74 mil. Bro,
right. So
what?
the reason why that's the biggest reason why I'm giving them a C plus, because like you mentioned, Christian Kirk, I feel like they overpaid for that. And I feel like the reason why they went for Christian Kirk is because they couldn't figure out to get a trade for Amari. But I think Christian Kirk, you paid him too much money. You paid him like he's a top, four wide receiver in the league, and he hasn't yet to even produce any of
Because
those type
if
of numbers.
he's getting paid 74, what is Adams supposedly supposed to be?
Right. And then so
Whew.
that, and then on top of the fact, I like the Foyer Sade pickup. I feel like other than Zadarius, I believe, or Devondre, he was up there in the top five as
Mm-hmm.
far as linebackers that was available.
Showing up.
Excuse me, in the free agency. Only thing that I don't like is I don't think that he fits their scheme as he would have fit had he gone to like Indianapolis Colts. And that's just my opinion. But yeah, the Christian Kirk. Now I like the Evan Ingram deal. I feel like Evan
Mm-hmm.
Ingram is going to
Prove
be a
it.
yeah. I feel like he's going to be a bailout. Based on what I've seen with Trevor Lawrence, he does hit the tight end. So I feel like Evan Ingram is gonna prove it, and then he'll get it. He'll go to a good team next year. I won't be surprised if he goes to the Bengals next year, because I feel like if he wasn't picked up today, we would have picked up Evan Ingram.
Y'all would have
Yeah,
reached out to that man. I sure
yeah,
did think
yeah,
so.
yeah. So especially after them losing CJ Uzoma. But yeah, so I give them a C plus. I give them a C plus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so next up is on you.
So we got the New York Jets, and I feel like, and I actually posted this on Facebook. I actually mentioned something about this on the Twitter account for SBS. If you guys are not following uh, the our Twitter, the link is going to be in the description. Make sure you guys follow us. So just in case if you are under a rock and you can't sit on YouTube or listen to your podcast, you'll get tweet notifications sent to your phone when these players are getting picked up or traded, things of that nature. But I actually liked what the Jets have done so far on day one free agency. And I know I want to preface this.
Oh.
You guys, I'm not a Jets fan,
Mm-hmm.
but I just like me personally. I like what the Jets did. Um, they got a nice young quarterback who has a good arm. I like the potential of Zach Wilson. So them getting Laken Tomlinson, I would have loved to have him to have gone to the Bengals, but the Bengals, they're not gonna sign a big name like Laken,
Uh-uh.
especially at his age, and
Nope.
especially somebody at his age with his stature of a player. They're gonna want certain kind of guarantees when it comes to their contract. And that's not something big that Cincinnati is into. Cincinnati has been spending money, but when it comes to contract structure, it's those guarantees that really make or break when a player is going to go to a team or not. So, but back to the Jets, I really like the pickup of Laken Tomlinson because now they have Elijah Vera Tucker, who has been playing very nice at guard,
Mm-hmm.
and
Facts.
they're most likely gonna switch Laken over from to the other side, put him on the right side, and so he's gonna be opposite of Elijah Vera Tucker, and I feel like that it shoring up the interior of the line because what a lot of people aren't realizing is nowadays since a lot of teams are playing a lot of five wide and empty sets, as important as edge rushers are in the league, when teams are playing empty, more and more as kids are going to be coming up, as college players are going to be coming out, you're going to see that those inside linemen, those interior defenders,
DTs.
when a quarterback can't step up into a pocket, especially on empty sets, it really disrupts the offense. Especially,
Mm-hmm.
you don't even have to have the most competent edge rushers. I feel like the league is transitioning, especially with so many athletes at edge and so many athletes at tackle, that the league is starting to transition to where you got to have good defensive tackles to push directly in the face of the quarterback.
Right, and didn't he played right in the right side in college, if I'm not mistaken. He
I
sure
believe,
did.
yeah,
That was the
yep,
last time he played it.
yep.
Hey, that's a good
Yeah,
move, man.
so and then they signed back Braxton Berrios, which is their returner.
Mm-hmm.
He was an all pro as a returner last year. I feel like that's a good pickup
AKA
because
Hester.
yeah, I feel like they with the upgrade of that line, they're gonna figure out a way to utilize him more into the offense, which will make a lot of sense for a young quarterback that's gonna be in his second year. Now, this pickup really broke my heart because this guy has been so important to our franchise over the course of the
Yeah,
last
man,
year.
that's crazy. But it looks like your mic probably was unplugged. That's what it sounded like. B
Mm.
Rob, I can't
Well,
hear
look.
you.
Well, look. Oh,
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
can you hear me now?
Nope, 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 nope.
No. Oh my gosh, what happened?
Not sure what just happened. One like, hey, you were spitting facts and then it stopped.
Are you able to hear me now?
Nope, nope, nope. Hold
Oh
up, some
man.
technical difficulties. Not sure what is going on in here, but it seems like they are trying to stop this man from spitting these facts.
Can you hear me now?
I'm not understanding. They
Oh
really
my
stopping
gosh, are
this
you kidding
dude.
me? Wow.
Oh.
Yo, did you unmute me? Unmute me.
They really stopping this dude. Like that's crazy, man. This is
Can
this
you
is
hear me now?
crazy.
Dang.
This is crazy.
Wow.
This is crazy, man. Let me
Wow.
see. Let me see. Yeah, nope. Can't hear it fuzzed out. I don't know if you're gonna have to unplug
Can
the
you hear
mic,
me now?
maybe. I'm not sure what's
Can you hear
going
me now?
on. Mm-mm.
Wow.
No sound, zero sound, zero sound.
Dang.
Sorry, guys, for this technical difficulty. Still can't hear him, but you can hear me. I wonder
So
if it's my
go
mic.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Go ahead and say what you were saying.
Can you hear me?
Nope, I guess it's not my
Nah.
headset. But yo, and also the Jets did sign somebody that I know it hurt him a little bit over there, B Rob. That's why
Hurt my
I'm like, I
soul.
knew it was coming. And all of a sudden the mic just went out. Like I knew it was coming. It was coming. Yes, they signed that man, CJ Uzin. Blah, 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 blah. Y'all know what I'm talking about. CJ. I was about to
Uzama.
Uzman Ha.
Uzama.
Oh, CJ Uzama. There you go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They
Too
signed
bad
that
you
man. That
too bad
was
you
a
can't hear me.
steal. That was I don't understand why Cincy even let that happen. It was insane, man. Like, yo. Bro's favorite target to what it seems to me, besides Chase, CJ was that man. He was making those
See,
plays.
he's security blanket.
He was making those plays, which man, when he get back on here, when he get the mic fix or whatnot, you guys will definitely catch him. I'm gonna move on to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers. Now I know some people like, why would I do Steelers? You know, my boy is a Bengals fan. But you know what? I like what Pittsburgh did. I like what Pittsburgh did. I was if Watson didn't come to the Giants, I would have wanted him to go to Pittsburgh just because Mike Tomlin, you know. But they did pick up Mitchell Trubisky. That was a big pickup. That was a big pickup for them because Mason Rudolph, he ain't about to do nothing, man. That dude is not doing nothing for nobody right now. So that was a big pickup. Also, they got that tackle. Oh, sorry, y'all. The amount that Mitchell Trubisky got paid is a 2-year, $14 million deal. That's not bad. I would think that they probably still are in the running for Watson. Who knows? And then they signed the tackle Chukwuemeka Okafor
Okafor,
for
like the
3
basketball
years,
player.
$29 million.
Dang it.
And then they signed a tackle, Mason Cole, 3 years, 15 mil. Like, they are trying. They should have did this for Big Ben. Maybe he would have had a better sent off. But they started to stack their team with the line, which is really good. And Okafor was ranked 10th amongst tackles. 10th. He 3% of the time he allowed pressure to the quarterback. That's crazy. Only 3% of the time. And he
That's
was ranked
balling.
10th among all tackles. That was a major deal. I wish the Giants had picked him up, but we'll get to the Giants a little bit later. And like, man, so what I'm gonna give their grade, so to speak, their grade, I'll give them a C. A C. Because you know what? They still need a whole lot of stuff over there in Pittsburgh. The steel curtain. They still need a whole lot of stuff. But hey, man, there's a team here that I want to talk about a little. And that is the Seahawks. We all know they traded away. It was either going to be Russell Wilson or their coach. And they chose the coach. That's pretty much what it is. They signed safety Quandre Diggs, to 3 years, $40 million.
Definitely Quandre.
3 years, $40 million they signed him to.
Dang it.
Which that is that's a pretty penny right there. 3 million, and then they signed Sidney Jones. So it seems like they're gonna try to build up this Legion of Boom again. They signed for a 1-year prove it deal, and then they picked up inside a defensive tackle, AI Woods. Yes, he's fallen off a little bit, but that's pretty good. And then they picked up Will Disley, a 3-year, $24 million, the tight end. They do have Noah Fant still, but I think that they're going to try to go to that ground and pound run.
Run.
That's exactly what they're going to try to do.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
We good money?
Yep. They just
Okay,
gonna
okay.
try to run because they don't got nobody. The Seahawks
Nobody.
do. Now
Yeah.
I'm gonna let my man get back to who he was talking about there. These just
Okay.
because I know he got more.
Yeah, yeah. So look, I'm a breeze real by it. Man, CJ Uzama. Listen, he's my heart this year. Life blood of the locker room. It
Yeah.
sucks to see him go. So with CJ Uzama gone, sorry. I feel like that slates us to either draft a tight end in the second if McBride is there, or maybe even the tight end from Ohio State. This is
Ohio.
assuming if we fix the line completely in the next few days. But it's not about the Bengals. This is about CJ Uzama right now. I will say I'm glad this man got paid.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the second year in a row that a player has gone from the Bengals to the Jets. Last year we lost Carl Lawson, but he goes to a good situation where he has a lot of
Up and
experience
coming.
has a lot of experience playing with a very good cerebral quarterback. I feel like as long as they utilize him,
Cerebral now,
come on now, Joe Burrow,
bro.
young goat. But hey, we not talking about Joe, we talking about CJ. But I just feel like he'll do well as long as they utilize him. Keep in mind CJ Uzoma was like the fifth option, fourth and fifth option when it came to the Bengals. So and he still had a decent year.
He inched
So
up and inched up and inched up till he was like the third
yeah.
almost.
So I'm wishing the best of luck to CJ Uzoma. But if I was to give a grade to the Jets on their first day, like their day one, they improved the line. They re-signed a weapon that it seems like they're gonna plan to use in the future. I don't feel like they're done. I feel like they may
Oh
be in the
no.
market still for a wide receiver. But if
Mhm.
I was to give them a grade, I know it may seem like I'm a little strict on some of the grades that I'm giving, but if I was to give them a grade, I'll give them a C plus for just after the first day. And we'll revisit these grades come right before the draft, so we'll know exactly what teams did fully in the free agency.
Mhm.
Because there's gonna be a lot of people who get picked up right before the draft that teams didn't take a chance at, and the market got lower, and things of that nature. But did you want to add anything back to your team before I move on to the Green Bay
No,
Packers?
no, 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 no. You can move on to Green Bay because I covered the Pittsburgh and I threw in the Seahawks there.
Okay, sweet, sweet, sweet.
Hmm.
All right. So speaking of the Green Bay Packers,
Man, I was so pissed.
so look, I will say this. Now, assuming if what the report that is coming out of Devante Adams saying that
I want my money.
he wants his money, he will not play under the franchise tag tender. The crazy thing about it is he actually can still get all of his money, all 20 million for the franchise tag tender, and not have to show up to any OTAs, training camps. He can show up at week one and still get paid. So keep that in mind, guys. I think when you're Devonte Adams and you see what some receivers went for today, i.e.
Oh,
Christian Kirk, um,
74 mil, bro.
right. When you see somebody like Christian Kirk who gets paid, and you know that you're at least two times better than him, and no, this is no shot at Christian Kirk, you might be in the market of where you may be asking between that 25 to maybe close to that um DeAndre Hopkins number of 27 million a year. Now DeAndre Hopkins 27 million a year is a little bit different because his was like with an extension tacked on when he moved from Texas to Arizona. That's a
Mm-hmm.
little different. It's not like a regular contract like straight on. But I can definitely see Adams wanting to get paid. He already wants to be the highest paid receiver, which he should. And if you think about it, as good as Aaron Rodgers is, I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of that production is on Devante Adams, and even necessarily when he's not throwing it to Devante Adams,
Right. He
a
got
lot
two
of that
people on him
he
all the time.
in
Two,
some
three people.
cases, some teams put 3 people on him this past season. So I think that them, not them, they they did well as far as defense. I mean, defensively, they got back Preston Smith. They chose Preston Smith over Zadarius Smith, let's say that. And then they were able to retain Devondre Campbell, which to me, Devondre was the best linebacker in the class because, he had a resurgence year. Like, nobody seen the year that he was having. The guy did his thing.
He was supposed to become a giant,
He literally
but
he over 100. He was 6 in total tackles solo by himself,
Dolo
fifth
with
and
111, right?
exactly. So then, and then when you factor in the fact that he's forcing turnovers by getting interceptions and forcing fumbles, and then on top of it, he's up there in the top, 40 players as far as assists. So he's constantly around the ball. And you want somebody who's constantly around the ball because they're gonna constantly make opportunities. So if we're talking about just strictly, um, if I'm being biased when it comes to this, when it comes to the day one of free agency for the Green Bay Packers, I'm actually going to give them a B minus. And the reason why I'm going to give them a B minus is because when you have a wide receiver like like Devante Adams, and then you have a quarterback who signed that big of a contract, it limits what you can do as far as the weapons, right? So then now you have Devante Adams, a player who knows he's one of one, right? He's wide receiver one, and he's not two, right? Um, when you have somebody like him that doesn't want to play on a free agent, I mean on a franchise tag, but you did beef up the defense, and their signings today actually helped them free up a little bit of cap space just because of the way the contracts were structured. But at the end of the day, when you look at it, if you go back to that playoff game when they were playing the San Fran, and it was like Aaron Rodgers didn't trust anybody but Devonte Adams. I feel like as if I were Aaron Rodgers, I make sure when I'm restructuring my contract, I've already been paid. I've already been paid. I've already been paid. When I'm getting my contract this time around, I'm making sure I'm keeping my best weapon. If you think about it, I think largely in part of why he stayed in Green Bay because at the time Tom Brady had retired, and then when you look at it, Russell Wilson is gone. Um, the NFC as a whole, and I'm not saying it's easier, but it's gotten easier. You look at San Fran; they're moving on from Jimmy Garoppolo. They're gonna have a new quarterback start, so that's a team that you feel like you don't have to worry about as much. So I feel like that's the reason why he stayed in NFC instead of going to the gauntlet, which is the AFC. So I give them a B minus, just because I feel like they should have done a little bit better. Aaron Rodgers personally should have done a little bit better. This is just me being biased. I'm not counting this man's pockets, saying what he should or haven't done. He's a multiple MVP, but
back to back.
I just feel like when you see somebody who you're constantly being compared to, like Tom Brady, who has
Who
won
took pay
multiple
cuts
to
after
pay
pay
cut
cut?
after pay cut after pay cut, and it's not like, and again, I'm not counting this man's pockets, but it's not like he's not in different endorsements. Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, so I don't know. I just would have if I'm the quarterback of the Packers and you are my top wide receiver. Come on now, you my boy. I'm gonna make sure you're there and you're
Mm-hmm.
satisfied. I'm gonna make sure you're there and you're satisfied because who knows what the Packers is gonna look like. And like I said, in our stream yesterday, our impromptu stream yesterday, you guys can go back and check it on the channel about Tom Brady. When Remember when I said as far as way too early Super Bowl picks, as far as teams that are in the
Mm-hmm.
Super Bowl, I said the Packers
Green
versus
Bay.
the Chargers, right?
So did.
I feel like I might be right on the Chargers, but I feel like I might be wrong on the Tigers now.
Understandable. I give them a C plus, mainly because I don't like the way they doing Adams. They should have had him signed way before. They paying everybody else, and when you seeing your teammates getting paid and you're not getting paid what you're worth, that can mess up that locker room. For some reason I feel if he doesn't get paid, he's not gonna play.
Yeah, and I mean, the consensus, everybody knew that he was going to get franchise tag just because,
To hold.
yeah, and their cap situation wasn't the best.
Mm-hmm.
By them doing these signings, the way the contracts are structured, you got one player on a 5-year contract, and then you got one player on a 4-year contract. So it definitely like spreads it out to where it eases up the cap hits for this year to ease up the cap space. So I believe their intentions were always to franchise tag him and then try to get a deal done before June. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't, unless they make another couple of moves, I don't see it happening. But then you also have to remember, other than Devante Adams, what other wide receiver? They don't got Tunyon right now on the books. He's still a free agent. Marcus
Y'all got
Valdez-Scantling,
Stanton.
still a free agent. If I'm not mistaken, isn't Lazard a free agent right now?
Mm-hmm. I
So it's
don't
like,
think they signed back.
so it's
Mm-hmm.
like Aaron Rodgers, but then again, it's just like a Dallas situation. Aaron Rodgers, you made your bed, so now you gotta land it.
Lay down.
Land it.
Yep. And next up, the Super Bowl favorites, in my eyes, because we're making the right move so far, the New York freaking Giants. The freaking Giants. I love this pickup. Mark Gronkowski, man. Beautiful pickup. He came from one of the best offensive lines in football for the last 4 years. Their offensive line has been it. They have time to pass, and we already know their running game been clicking all the time. It's like he just sets it up beautiful. You
Yo,
know, well,
just for the listeners out there, what team did he come from?
oh, you asking me?
Yeah, I mean, because it may be some people who don't know
Oh,
much
oh,
anything about free agency, so they, you
oh, no,
talking
no, no. He
about one
came
of the.
from the Colts.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
he came
okay.
from the Colts, and he
Yep,
was drafted by Seahawks
yeah, okay.
back in 2015. But big fella over there, man, 310 pounds, 6'4", run a 5'2". Even though that don't make a difference, but he was tied for 60 seconds. He only had 2 penalties last year. Two, uno, dos, 2 penalties last year. And even better, he only allowed 2 sacks. 2 sacks. We're going to be able to breathe some. We're going to be able to breathe. And according to PFF, his run blocking is the top 70 percentile. So I'll
Not
run the
bad.
game. And if you think about that, when old boy was breaking them runs, it was a lot on his side. I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
Saquon used to get touched in the backfield a lot before
too
he came.
much. He used to
Yeah,
have to break 2 tackles in the backfield
yeah,
to get 3 yards.
yeah.
I believe he's shoring up the line. Will Hernandez, you know what, you'll be a solid backup because this man is starting. And it's not that I'm being so-called biased right now, but my grade for this pickup, because this has been one of our biggest downfall for the last 4, 5, 6 years, have been our offensive line. I'm gonna give the grade for day one. Day one, uno. I'm gonna give the grade a B plus. A B plus, man. I have to, cause we're addressing a need. We are addressing a need, and then hopefully we could get Watson to be back there throwing. doubt that will happen, but we're addressing the need of the line. This is now our draft pick. We still might end up drafting like 2-3 linemen, linemen, but we could do something else. I love it, man. I love it. I don't know what else to say. G-man all the way.
So if we're just talking today with day one of
Mm-hmm.
day one for the New York Giants, I feel like you guys are going to draft line, so I'm going to try to grade without the assumption that you are going to draft line.
We need
Which
some
I will
vets in
say,
there.
I will say today shook up a lot of mock drafts today as far as what teams people thought, what players people thought teams were going to go to. But if I was to give you guys a grade, I'll definitely give you guys a C plus for just day one. Well,
Great.
and the reason why I give y'all a C plus is just because, well, I feel like this kind of has the same
C plus, you said?
yes, listen, hear me out. The reason why look, it's the reason why I say a C plus is because one, you guys only picked up you picked up one player, which
Yeah.
is not a bad player, but like you said, he did play on the Colts, and then everybody knows that Colts offensive line he's got some studs on that offensive line, and one could also feel like the reason why they have a lot of success. You know, you got Nelson, but the collective unit feeds off of everyone else, right? So I feel like the inefficiencies that the Giants have on the line, I feel like this wasn't a slam dunk to where it's like, yo, this guy immediately improves a lot.
Nah, it was an alley hoop.
Oh, I don't know. So, but I feel like I'm gonna give it a C plus. Maybe in a few days that grade changes, because there's still other tackles and other guards out there that you definitely could fill some holes with. But if we just talking about just straight day one, I'm gonna give um them a C plus. I'm gonna give them a C
I guess I gotta respect it. It's
plus.
bogus though, but man, but me personally, I like what the Giants did. You know, my final thoughts are the NFL is getting shaken up a lot. There's a lot of tackles, a lot of linemen. The beef and the meat and the potatoes
Hmm.
that move places today. They were
Yep.
flying off the shelf like hotcakes.
Yeah.
NFL, they realize something. These NFL teams, you got to protect that man that's throwing that football. You got to.
Yeah. If I was to end it off with my final thoughts, unrelated to everything that we talked about today, I am glad the way Cincinnati Bengals started all free agents. We were the first team to sign, well, tamper with a player on the
Mhm.
official tampering day. We literally was able to get somebody within the first 2 minutes of the tampering period being open.
Right. So
We were the
yeah, because
first.
they what they did call the person. Yeah, you want to play for me? Oh yeah, come on. In 2 minutes,
Literally, literally that
bruh.
fast, 2 minutes, right? So I'm very proud of my Cincinnati Bengals, and it'll definitely be some content specifically geared to them and what they're doing coming in very soon. I will say this: assuming if the Bengals, assuming if the Giants shake up something in the organization tomorrow, I'm expecting to see some heat from you
Mm-hmm.
personally. I'm expecting to see some heat from you personally, so you can go in on your team the biased way. Because I'm like I
That's the
said, you my
only
boy.
way.
I hope you guys do something because I we know some fans of some other teams in that conference, and if it's too easy and it's no competition, it's gonna give people that false sense of reality, hope that their team is actually better than what it actually is.
No worries. Some
You know,
teams is
so
just gonna see these else.
that ain't got nothing to do with me. But I want to say thank you guys for tuning in to this video. We want you guys to make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you guys are watching this on YouTube. If you guys are listening to this on your favorite podcast app, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple, make sure you guys hit that favorite, and so that way you can listen to us on your way to work from home. We're constantly gonna be uploading content, and make sure you guys just stick around because we got a lot of giveaways and fun things coming up for the channel.
Yes, guys. You know what? And one last thing. My mama always used to say to me, one man can't outsmart two men. Think about that.